Landing, which is located downstream from the crash site cave in the recreation bunker entrance, but you'll need a maintenance keycard to access the bunker. Even without the keycard, you can use the printer outside the office to make tools, armor parts, ammunition, and more, as long as you have enough resin. In the game, you receive a guidebook, accessible from the inventory or by pressing B. This book is a valuable resource, teaching you how to construct various structures. You can flip through pages with buttons or use tabs to jump to specific building categories. An essential feature is the ability to switch from right-handed to left-handed mode. In your right hand, the book provides basics like walls, floors, stairs, and fires. When in your left hand, it operates akin to the guidebook in the original game, displaying more intricate builds. You can select and place them in the world, then fill them with necessary materials.
Okay. Oh, so I should build a base. Okay.
The handbook also offers blueprints for different traps, from sound alarms to animal traps and hardcore weapons. Basic traps are in the handbook, but you can discover hidden island blueprints for advanced weapons. To build better traps, uncommon items are often needed, emphasizing the importance of collecting various materials. Strategically placing traps around your base can deter cannibals, eliminating the need for direct combat. Even though the game doesn't have a strict order of events, checking your GPS and going to marked locations will lead you to helpful caves and landmarks. Make sure to get armor and weapons to protect yourself from enemies. Once you have a good base, use your GPS to understand map markers. Green markers show the main story progression, helping you find the missing billionaire. Focus on these if you want to advance the main storyline. The map also points out cave entrances with valuable items like the rebreather, shovel, and rope gun. So, make sure to check out your GPS more often. Sons of the Forest has a new feature where the weather changes as seasons pass. When winter comes, the environment becomes harsher, with colder days and nights. This makes it harder to find food, and the mutants become more aggressive because they're hungry for human flesh. To survive the winter, it's a good idea to gather and store food and important resources like logs and building materials before it gets too cold. Exploring the map before winter is also important, as it becomes more difficult to travel in the cold, like visiting certain locations marked with purple markers, which can make your exploration easier. To prepare for this, you should consider building walls and spikes for defense around your base and saving any ready-to-eat meals you find to ensure you have enough food throughout the tough winter season. I hope this list of tips help you when just starting. If you've got any tips you'd like pass along, share it with us in the comments. While you're here, be sure to check out beginner guides for other video games. One of your favorite games might be there too. For everything else gaming, keep it here. I'll see you all in the next video.
Can't be rushing. I gotta make a freaking. Damn. Nah, that's gonna take a whole long time, bro. I forgot I uploaded some of these though. Rage quit on the game. I rage quit on the game like that, yo. I didn't even mean to.
So I think the first thing you got to do when you start playing Sons of the Forest is instantly make a spear, and it's super easy. You know, you just go into your inventory, you throw on your duct tape, you throw your knife in there, you throw 2 sticks, and you click combine, and you make a spear. The most important thing to start with in Sons of the Forest. So I think the first thing you got to do when you start playing Sons of the Forest is instantly make a spear, and it's super easy. You know, you just go into your inventory.
So you're starting your Sons of the Forest playthrough, or you're already playing and wondering what you should be doing first. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you've come to the right place, because in today's video, we're going to be going over exactly what you should be doing to get the best start in Sons of the Forest. Now, I have already made my building guide, so if you are looking to understand the free building a little bit better, I highly recommend checking that out. But the first tip, I think, is a pretty obvious one. We can go over it really quick, and that is to build near a fresh water source. This is for multiple reasons, one of being you can get infinite water from here, so you can always be hydrated whenever you're near your base. You can fill up your canteens, and you can have your companion fish for you, which is so unbelievably helpful at the beginning of the game, except for when he just decides to run off with your fish. That's right, buddy. Bring me the fish. Now, what I typically do is once I find a fresh water source, what we can do is we can have him go and get fish, and what I do is instead of like having him give it to me, I have him drop it right here, and you can collect a lot of fish this way. So what you can do with the fish, you can do a couple different things. If you've got all of your fish already on the fire, then you can hang them on a drying rack. And this drying rack can be built. You can switch modes with this build mode. It's going to be in this kind of free building mode when you start. You can hold X to switch it over to here, and then you have these storage options. And then I believe on like the 3rd page of the storage options, we have the drying rack, which is just 13 sticks. Now, if you really are in a bind, you can definitely just eat them completely raw while flopping around, and there seems to be no negative effects from this. You get a lot of health back, as well as filling up your food quite a bit. Now, if you do want to actively hunt for yourself, we get a recipe that we can use very early in the game. It's going to take 1 stick, or 2 sticks rather. You're going to need a knife, which you get at the beginning of the game, and then you're going to need some duct tape as well. Once you put all of these on here, you can hit the combine button, and you're going to make yourself a nice little spear. Now, the spear is going to be one of your best sources for food as well as self-defense at the beginning of the game. You can use it to go spear fishing, it's a little bit of a pain. I find it easier just to have your companion do it, but you can definitely do it on your own at really any water source. Now, once you catch a fish with your spear, you can either grab it off of your stick by tapping E, or you can actually eat it directly off the stick if you hold E. Now, unfortunately, turtles are also a really good source of food at the beginning of the game. You don't have to kill them, but you can kill them with the spear and take all of their meat for yourself. I'm gonna let this turtle live, because it's kind of graphic when you do it, but it is definitely a good option. Also, another tip, I don't know if this is a glitch, but if you go back to the location where you started, these chests seems like every few days will actually respawn with stuff in them. So if you're needing to stock up on things, you can head back to your crash site and actually collect some of the really good items that you can get at the beginning of the game. Now that we've got our first form of defense, probably some food stocked up and a good fresh water source, it's time to explore. We're actually going to go get the 3D printer, which is going to allow us to get some really handy items in the game, and you can find it really easily by going to one specific location. So the cave in question is a guaranteed place for us to be able to find the 3D printer, which is going to have some great items, and the one we're looking for is actually right here. This is going to be relatively close to where you started, depending on where you actually landed in your playthrough. Now, you can open up your GPS to locate it. We're actually going to one of these green blinking dots that is on our GPS, and you can zoom in and out of your GPS by clicking in on the middle mouse button. Now, you can see from my playthrough, I started kind of far away, all the way over there. You can see where Kelvin is back there. I call him Kevin. Kevin's a better name, but nobody ever hears me say that. Anyways, what we need to do is you can see these 3 purple dots here. This is part of a quest, and one of them is out in the water. And if you locate that one, then you're going to kind of follow this river up, and this is going to be where this green blinking dot is that we need to actually go to. Now, once you're here, we can just go right on through this little hole right here, and get into the cave. Now, once inside the cave, if you have a torch or a flashlight or anything like that, it'll probably come in handy. But we're just going to be using our flashlight for this until we kind of just move forward into... All I got to do is just works in a moment. Now, if you're feeling fancy, you can make one of these tech mesh. Done messing around in the dungeon, I can show you how this mask works. We've got a little encampment right here. So we're going to equip this mask. And what we can do is, as long as we aren't aggressive, this will actually deter certain mutants from attacking us. And specifically, it's these ones right here. We can put the mask on like this, and it'll kind of get them to not attack us after a while, which is pretty nice. It doesn't work on the crawly ones. The crawly ones are no bueno. The ones that like crawl on all fours and jump on the trees and things like that. It doesn't work for them. Oh, that's nice. It looks like they impaled that dude right through the balloon knot. Not a fan of that. But yeah, we can, as long as we're not aggressive, we can put the mask on, and they shouldn't attack us. You'll see they kind of like come up all creepy on us. They'll get all mad and things like that, but they won't really bother you as long as you don't attack them. So this mask can come in really handy in a sticky situation, so just keep that in mind. But yeah, I'm kind of wondering if it works on...
It's going to be the last time I talk about it.
And Ibuka is healthy after a nagging hamstring that he injured 3 weeks ago. Here's a pass play across the middle. There he is. Ibuka cutting.
I haven't washed my hand in a minute, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
The stat sheet say?
Now that Sons of the Forest...
Hello,